Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something highly practical. We are looking at a real-world architectural proposal for a property known as Tweeness, located right on Cherry Tree Lane in Spalding. We're going to take a highly technical set of blueprints and planning documents, drafted by AL-Haitham Ltd., and break them all down into a clear, accessible, and, honestly, pretty fascinating journey. We'll be looking at exactly how strict municipal rules, combined with exact mathematical dimensions, can be leveraged to completely transform a living space.
All right, let's map out exactly what we're looking at today. First up, the proposed house extension. Then, we'll break down the technical dimensions, look at how they meet local planning policies, and finally, explore the homeowner floor area benefits. Let's dive in.
Section 1. The proposed house extension, visualizing the exterior transformation.
Okay, before we get bogged down in the numbers, we really need to understand the physical scale of this project. Just notice the sheer contrast between the before and after here. Look at the existing rear elevation on the left. It's quite modest, pretty standard, and you can tell it's clearly leaving a ton of the property's potential completely untapped. But over on the right, the proposed elevation expands that space dramatically outward. The inclusion of those expansive folding doors, that is a total game changer. It completely opens up the ground floor to the outside, changing the entire character of the home from the ground up to make it feel expansive and incredibly modern.
Moving right along to Section 2, Technical Extension Dimensions Explained, the numbers behind the build. Now, a massive transformation like that doesn't just happen because you sketched out some nice big windows and hoped for the best, right? It takes some serious, precise calculation. This breakdown outlines the absolute core measurements dictating the entire expansion. For the rear extension, the plan pushes out precisely 3.5 meters in depth, with a height capped at 2.5 meters. And remarkably, it spans the entire full width of the original house. Meanwhile, the side extension, which actually operates on both the ground and first floors, is strictly held to a 3.5-meter width. Now these numbers, the 3.5 and the 2.5, they aren't just random guesses. They are highly calculated, deliberate choices made to maximize space while navigating some pretty complex developmental rules.
So the really crucial point here is how those specific numbers interact with the rulebook. Look at the ground and first floors. Notice how both levels of the side extension perfectly align at that 3.5-meter width. Why exactly 3.5 meters? Well, because the architects specifically note in their planning documents that this dimension is deliberately less than half the width of the original house. Honestly, this is an absolute masterclass in architectural boundary pushing. By ensuring both stories stay just under that half-width regulatory threshold, they are optimizing their permitted building volume to the absolute millimeter, all without triggering more restrictive planning denials.
Which brings us to Section 3, Meeting Local Planning Policies, playing by the Southeast Lincolnshire rules.
You know, expanding your home is never just about what happens strictly inside your own property line. It's about how your property interacts with the wider community. Under Policies 2, 3, and 36 of the Southeast Lincolnshire Local Plan, a project like this comes with some very strict conditions attached. The new extension literally must perfectly match the external surfaces of the existing house. We're talking the brickwork, the finish, the roof tiles. They all have to be virtually indistinguishable from the original build. On top of that, the windows have to align perfectly with the submitted details. But it's actually not all just aesthetic. Planning permission actively requires that vehicular access to the site be improved before the new extension is even used for the first time. And those improvements have to meet highly specific Lincolnshire County Council specifications for public safety.
If you're wondering why these rules are so strict, we just have to look at the exact wording right from the planning document itself. The council states that these material conditions are imposed in the interests of the architectural and visual integrity of the overall development and the visual amenity of the area in which it is set. When you think about it, it's a beautifully structured compromise. The homeowner gets their massive new living space, but the local council ensures that the visual harmony and the safety of Cherry Tree Lane remain completely intact.
And finally, Section 4, Homeowner Floor Area Benefits, the spatial rewards unlocked.
Okay, we've talked about the strict rules, and we've analyzed those 3.5-meter dimensions. Now let's actually go inside the home to see the ultimate spatial reward that all this careful planning unlocked. Take a really good look at this proposed first floor layout. That 3.5-meter width we dissected earlier, it translates from a theoretical line on a page into real lived-in space right here. By expanding the side of the house perfectly within those allowed half-width margins, the architect has successfully carved out entirely new, highly functional rooms on the upper level of this home. Let's actually quantify those spatial rewards, because this is where it gets really fun. Because of those perfectly compliant dimensions, the homeowner didn't just get a little extra breathing room, they gained entire new rooms. The extension generated a brand new bedroom 4, giving them 7.41 square meters of space. Even more impressively, it created bedroom 5, yielding a really generous 8.48 square meters. And seamlessly integrated right between them is a highly functional new shower room at 2.58 square meters. Guys, that is over 18 square meters of premium, brand new upper floor living space, all born from simply navigating the rules correctly.
It really all comes back to what we can just call the 3.5-meter rule. By meticulously optimizing that permitted development allowance, pushing the rear out by exactly 3.5 meters, and expanding the side by exactly 3.5 meters to stay right under that half-width threshold, this massive spatial upgrade actually became a reality. It goes to show that local planning policies aren't just frustrating red tape designed to restrict you, they are a structural framework. And if you take the time to truly understand that framework, you can absolutely maximize your results.
So that leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to close on today. We've seen how Tweeness on Cherry Tree Lane was completely transformed by understanding and applying some exact dimensional strategies. So I'll leave you with this question. Could strict dimensional planning unlock hidden space within your own home's footprint? It just goes to show that if you start looking at your property boundaries not as annoying limits, but as a puzzle of rules waiting to be solved, the rewards can be absolutely life-changing. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to dive into the next one with you.